This is the MHS Pawdcast, the online radio voice of Metuchen High School.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS. I'm Eddie Kalegi. Following the school announcements, Josh and I will first be joined by Coach Holleran to preview the upcoming winter track season. Sticking with sports, we'll follow with a full-scale MHS winter sports preview. Then finally, I'll be talking to the Black Belt Institute's Bob Matland about his Tai Chi for Health campaign, along with what is new in Downtown Metuchen. He'll be dropping a lot of interesting tidbits about a lot of new developments coming in the Brainy Borough, so be sure to check it out. But first, here are the announcements from Sarah Terracina.
Thank you, Eddie. Tomorrow, December 12th, is the final day of the Metuchen High School Food Drive. If you haven't already, be sure to donate. Not only is it for a great cause, but you can earn your class and Battle of the Classes points. Thursday night, beginning at 7 p.m., come and enjoy the sounds of the season at the MHS Winter Concert. There will be music from the orchestra, chorus, and band, along with other smaller ensembles. Friday, December 14th is mid-marking period for the second cycle. Finally, a reminder that next Friday, December 21st, is the 12:30 early dismissal, leading into winter break. Back to you, Eddie.
Thank you, Sarah. Welcome back to the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS. I'm Eddie Kalegi.
And I'm Josh Hyman.
With the winter track season fast approaching, it's an ideal time to be joined by MHS biology teacher and longtime Bulldog cross-country and track coach, Mr. Holleran. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little about your running background. Has it been a lifelong love?
Yes, my background actually starts from when I was in the 6th grade, and all the way up till probably I was about 32 or 33 years old, and then coaching has overtaken that part of it as well. So I've been involved for as long as I've been alive, almost.
What do you enjoy most about coaching track in Metuchen?
Seeing the improvement of young athletes. Championships are great, but to me, the special thing is to watch a kid come into a program who really had no ability whatsoever and then turns into something pretty significant. And that just shows you the body of work a kid does, and that's what I love the most about it.
So before we get into winter track, let's discuss a very successful fall for the cross-country team for both the boys and the girls. There were certainly a lot of positive takeaways.
Yeah, the boys we had lost a lot of kids from last year's team, and we were very young, and a lot has happened now to get us to where I think we'll be pretty significant in a year or two. And a lot of improvement was made by that team. The girls team had an unbelievable year. I'm not the girls coach, my wife is, but they had a year that has never happened in this high school, ever, in any sport, in any season, ever. They were ranked as low as number 4 in the state of New Jersey. Their final ranking is probably going to put them at 5 or 6, and they won Group 2, which has never happened for a girls program in our school ever. And they just had some things that were kind of all happened all at once, almost like a perfect storm. So, they had an unbelievable season.
That's really impressive. What makes winter track different from the spring? Is there anything more easy or difficult about it? Or?
Well, there are less events. The team is a little smaller. We have a little bit over 40 kids compared to about 80 in the spring. What makes it different is it's tougher. I mean, the weather is tough. The kids have to practice in tough conditions, but we have tough kids here, so we don't let that become an issue for us. Racing indoors itself is a little bit more difficult because the track is smaller, but you do learn a lot from this season. I think that leads into spring track. So it's a little different, and unless people do it, they really would understand what I'm saying. But it is tough for the kids. I give these kids a lot of credit. They are, I call them warriors, because they're hardcore.
Yeah.
Nothing stops them. No weather, no temperature. They're out there. They're doing it, and it says a lot for your generation.
So there's definitely a lot of work that goes into it. So how do you feel about the winter track team this season? Who will be some of the key leaders of this team, and what do you see happening this winter?
The top kids on our team are obviously Eddie Maleg, who's now a senior, who's been involved in a lot of great things here, and he had a pretty good cross-country season as well. So we're looking forward to him doing well in the mile and 2 mile. He broke 10 minutes last year as a junior, which is a good barrier. So I'm hoping that he does something special. And I know he will. He was our captain in cross country, and I will say right now, and I've been coaching 38 years, he was the best captain I've ever had on any team at any time. He was just a different kid. And Avi Appel is coming off of what he did last spring, where he was a sectional champ in the 400 and the 100. So we're looking for him to get a little better and continue from where he started. And I know he wants to run in college as well, so this is an important season for him as well as spring. So those are probably the two guys that are going to highlight the team, but there are a number of young kids. Our sophomore group is extremely strong. And so kids like Thomas and Raj and Breen and Ramir, and I can go down the list. I mean, these kids are just coming along and they're doing a great job, so we're looking forward to them getting better as well. Mm-hmm. Our throwers are a little bit ahead of where we were last year with Chris Wu and August Hines, plus a whole bunch of others, right, Josh?
Yeah,
of course. Josh is a member of that group as well. So that's also a good lead-in for spring as well. So we're looking for those kids to continue to work and get better. So I'm real pleased with everything. You know, we got a good group of kids, a lot of young kids, and some seasoned veterans as well. So it should be fun.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are some of the major events for this season for the winter track team, and when are they happening?
Most of the big stuff happens in January and then February. The most important meet for us usually is the state sectionals, which is in early February. In January, we have state relays, county individuals. So they're important for our team to get relays together and also get some individual times down. But really the highlight for us and the pinpoint for us is in early February. And then hopefully we'll qualify kids to the state group meet and also meet the champions, as well as we'll have developmental meets too. So there's a lot of important stuff, but we really don't really start kicking things into high gear until we come back from break. So right now it's really a work time.
Well, definitely a lot to anticipate. Thank you for joining us here on the Metuchen High School Podcast.
You're the best, Eddie.
The winter sports season is fast approaching, so it's time to preview all that's happening this winter here at MHS. Starting with the girls basketball team, they had an up-and-down campaign last season plagued by injuries. What can we expect in Coach Glutz's second season?
Well, obviously last season was not one to remember. It was tough. It was a very young team last year. Bryn Farrell, who has now since transferred, was injured most of the season, and Rory Joselle, who's also gone since she graduated, she had to carry the team. So we're going to be looking at some different key leaders on this team this season. You're going to have seniors Michaela Kachi and Bridget O'Connor, juniors Sam Anton on the rebounding game, and sophomores Chase Clavon and Noelle Leaf, who will be factors as well. I think that year two of the Coach Glutz era, if the team can stay healthy, could prove to be quite successful, but there's still work to be done. One of the things they have to do that really plagued them in the games we covered last season was giving up these big runs to teams where they'd give up 17 points in such a short time or something like that. They need to prevent that and keep games close, and then they'll have a chance at the end.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen that this team can score, and if you said they need to lock down their defense a bit better, if they do that, they could definitely be a big contender in their group this season. So the boys basketball team won some big games, but also had their fair share of defeats last year. What must they do to close out games?
Well, Coach Jensen, he has his work cut out for him this season, because we talked about this when we did the fall sports preview about teams that were hit with the senior bug. This team is probably the most out of any winter sports team, because their whole starting lineup from last year, all five are gone, because now junior Amari Whitehead moved to Ohio, and then Riley Watkins, Daniel Russell, Sohan Ulal, and Danny Petto, they were all in the starting lineup. They have all since graduated. So senior Ethan Leibovitz will have to take the role of the star player this season. He's really the only returning player who was part of the core last season, but he does have other seniors around him, Ryan Grice, Will Horanich. They'll be providing some quick offense, and the goal for this team is very similar to what we were just talking about with the girls team. They have to stop runs. They know they have a good offense, but that will only be something to celebrate if the defense can step up. This will allow them to close out close games. And they were also eliminated pretty quickly from the playoffs last season, so also being able to compete in the big games will be key for this team to go deeper.
Yeah, definitely. They've really been hit by that senior buck, as you said, and it's going to be really interesting to see who steps up during the season, who really shines, who becomes one of the MVPs, so you say. And I think Leibovitz does really have his work cut out for him almost as much as the coach himself. So that's going to be a really interesting team to watch this winter. So the boys and girls swim teams each had highly successful 2017-18 campaigns. Can we expect more of the same this year?
Yes. We'll start with the boys swim team. They'll be anchored by senior Julian Park, who stands as the key leader once again. Expect their top 5 GMC ranking to continue. And then for the girls, they had a great year last year. They made it all the way to the state semifinals, and now with sophomore Bridget Thomas leading the way, I would not be surprised if this team not only makes it to the state semis, could even challenge for a state title. This team probably, out of all the winter sports teams, is the one with the best chance of going really far in the state.
All right, yeah, that's really nice to hear that the swim team's doing really well. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they make something out of the season. We'd really like to see winter sports team at MHS get really far into the state group, whatever they're going to do, you know. Mm-hmm. And what else is happening in MHS sports this winter?
Well, there's a couple other sports. Obviously, we had our interview with Coach Holleran to discuss winter track, but also the MHS wrestling team begins its campaign. They had some success last year, a record just around the 500 mark, and they were a young team last season, so not much of a bite from the senior bug. So expect this team of now veterans to compete pretty well in the GMC this year. And then also I wanted to talk about the hockey team, the Metuchen Edison joint hockey team that we do with JP Stevens and Edison High School. Metuchen's own Christopher Giddis, he's now the head coach of the team. And Metuchen, more and more players every season. We're up to 15 Bulldogs on the roster. 7 are freshmen, which continues to show that Metuchen growth. And Giddis is very excited about the team this season because he says there's a lot of camaraderie among the players, even though they don't go to the same school. These players have been able to mesh very well with each other. So with that being the case, I think this team could have a lot of good chances at having a lot of success on the ice this season.
Yeah, it's really good to hear that the hockey program is growing here at MHS and at our other Edison schools. So that's going to be really interesting to see in future years of MHS. Maybe not so now because it's so small, but in future years, I'm really excited to see where this hockey team goes.
Yeah, especially if we get so many people interested that maybe Metuchen could have its own hockey team. So definitely promising on that side of the spectrum. So when we come back, I'll be talking to Bob Matland of Black Belt Institute to discuss the benefits of Tai Chi and a lot of interesting news about the renaissance that Downtown Metuchen is going under right now. I'm Eddie Kalegi.
And I'm Josh Hyman.
And this is the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS. Having trouble seeing the board in class? Do you need safety glasses for your school sport? If you answered yes to either of these questions, head over to Optique Unique, the eyeglass store at 406 Main Street in Metuchen. Optique Unique does it all. Not only do they offer eyewear for all ages, they also sell sports-specific safety glasses for kids and adults. Call them at 732-321-2020. That's 732-321-2020, or visit OptiqueUnique.com. Do you want to build character, build confidence, or even build yourself? All that and more can be accomplished at the Black Belt Institute at 23 New Street, right here in Metuchen. Students of all ages have been able to learn respect, discipline, fitness, and self-defense from their experienced instructors for over 20 years. Whether you're an adult looking for stress reduction or know someone young who has interest in Taekwondo, the Black Belt Institute is the place to go. The Institute takes a fun approach at teaching the rules of self-defense, instilling in their students an I-can-do-it attitude. Interested in taking a class? Call them at 732-205-9797 or visit their website at blackbeltinst.com. Once again, that's 732-205-9797 or blackbeltinst.com. The Black Belt Institute, Metuchen's leader in martial arts and fitness. The MHS Pawdcast is proudly sponsored by Reflections on Main Salon at 176 Main Street in Metuchen. The salon offers hair design, nail, waxing, and makeup services for all ages. They are committed to providing the best customer service in the industry, offering a tranquil environment with environmentally friendly products and top brand names. Call them at 732-205-9881 or visit their website at reflectionsonmainNJ.com. Reflections on Main, Middlesex County's premier full-service beauty salon. The MHS Pawdcast is also sponsored by Allstate Insurance at 63 Pearl Street in Metuchen. Allstate, are you in good hands? Welcome back to the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS. I'm Eddie Kalegi. Downtown Metuchen has seen its rebirth take place over the past couple years. To discuss that, his personal life, and the benefits of Tai Chi, it's a pleasure to be joined by Bob Matland. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Eddie. It's a pleasure to be here.
I want to hear a little bit about yourself. You've had a long career teaching Tai Chi, other karate classes at Black Belt Institute. You have a lot to offer. Tell us about that experience and a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. I spent many years working for corporate USA, and then I made a career change in midlife, and I started teaching Taekwondo at Black Belt Institute. Started at Black Belt Institute in 1993. Moved into Metuchen, started in South Edsa, moved into Metuchen in 1996, and we've been at the same location at 23 New Street ever since 1996. I've been an active member in the community. I've been with the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce since, it's been about 8 years now. I've been in charge of the cruise nights run by the Chamber of Commerce for the past 7 years, and was also the chairperson for the newsletter when the Chamber of Commerce did have a paper newsletter. I started teaching Tai Chi about 17 years ago, and I was teaching at the Edison Senior Citizens. Did that for almost 17 years without anything coming back to me. I did it as a community service to help the Edison seniors. Now, I do teach Tai Chi for health, and for those people who don't know what Tai Chi is about, it is based on a Chinese martial art. But when it's taught in very slow movements, it becomes a very therapeutic form of exercise that helps to work the joints' full range of motion, enhance balance by developing more leg strength, and by keeping the back nice and straight and doing breathing with the movements. I am now teaching at Edison Seniors as well as JCC in North Edison, and I have just been contacted by Westfield Senior Citizen Housing to teach there also.
Very cool that you've gotten the experience to teach at so many places, including Black Belt Institute, that has been a loyal sponsor here of the MHS Podcast for both years. So talk to us a little more about Tai Chi. What is the most beneficial thing people can get from taking Tai Chi classes?
Okay, Tai Chi will, again, help to develop better range of motion of the joint. I have several students now with Parkinson's disease, and they have kind of a disconnect between the brain and the extremities, the body parts. Tai Chi helps them to reconnect, at least during the time that they're doing Tai Chi. That will, in effect, help long run to get that connection running more smoothly. I was part of the moving day, which was put on by the Parkinson's Disease Foundation through Hackensack Meridian and JFK Medical Center. This was last September. I was there to perform Tai Chi, and of course I had people involved, so that people could understand the therapeutic effects of Tai Chi for people with Parkinson's disease. I've also taught people with multiple sclerosis, because again, it helps to develop the leg strength for better balance, which we have also found to be very significant in teaching the seniors, because many seniors are so afraid of falling. And the Tai Chi helps them to develop the confidence and the leg strength that they won't fall. And I've been told several times by many seniors that I am saving their lives.
That's very interesting to hear how people who aren't as fortunate as some of us, who are getting the opportunity through Tai Chi to feel that reconnection again. It's very great to hear that you've helped so many people with Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, and even the seniors. So we're going to shift gears now, because when I met you back in October at the WOLD live broadcast at the Classic Car Show, it was clear that you had quite the knowledge about the cultural renaissance of downtown Metuchen. It's something that particularly caught my attention was the speculated plan about uniting the Forum Theater with the legendary Count Basie Theater in Red Bank. Tell us about the possibilities of that and what it would entail.
Sure. Okay, everything that I'm going to present to you regarding our upcoming Performing Arts Center was presented at a Chamber quarterly meeting on October 15th, which I attended, and Mayor Jonathan Bush was there making the presentation. Now, he did reference the fact that they've been in touch with Count Basie Theater to help get information, and Count Basie Theater in return is interested in a collaboration where if there is a big name coming into Count Basie Theater in Red Bank, as you know, and they're looking for a fill-in during the week, they are more than interested in having the Forum Theater or the Metuchen Performing Arts Center being that avenue so that they can fill in the gaps while the people, or these headliners are waiting to perform at the Count Basie Theater. I think that would be a fantastic collaboration between Metuchen and the Count Basie Theater. I don't know if you're aware, but Metuchen has received a $3.5 million grant from the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders. And this is to initiate the beginnings of the Performing Arts Center so that the borough can purchase the Forum Theater and expand into what is now New Jersey Petroleum, and offer not only the performances but also a place where people can go before the show starts, and maybe even after, maybe have a drink and a little something to eat, and that way they can be prepared for a fantastic show in downtown Metuchen. As you know, there have been so many things going on in Metuchen over the last several years.
Yes.
And, having owned a business right on New Street for 23 years, I've had the opportunity to see the changes and what a fantastic future there is for Metuchen. The building of the 6-level parking deck and the 273 apartment units next door were fantastic, but even better than that was the plaza that came in along with those buildings. That plaza has afforded not only the Chamber of Commerce, but also the Metuchen Downtown Alliance, a place where they can have community events, community gatherings, get the people of Metuchen coming together and doing things together. And it's such a positive thing for downtown Metuchen. I think that the government officials in Metuchen definitely have their sights aimed in a good direction at building Metuchen and making a better borough. And as you know, we also now have Whole Foods. I'm sure a lot of people are enjoying the Whole Foods supermarket.
Yes.
With the organic offerings, as well as the other stores that are going in. And, of course, we're going to have more people moving in with additional 75-unit apartment building going in behind Wine Chateau. So there are a lot of things going on in downtown Metuchen. We now have Title Boxing. We have Mike's Subs. Chipotle, Leonardo Jewelers, Verizon Wireless, Massage Envy. And there's going to be more.
What especially fascinates me is just this amazing transition that the town has gone over just a couple short years. And you mentioned bringing the community together. And something that has particularly caught my eye is you just were talking about Whole Foods and some of these other businesses, these chains that are coming into Metuchen. Because as you would know, for the longest time, aside from Friendly's and maybe a couple others, there weren't really that many chains that were coming into the Brainy Borough, and now that has begun to change. Do you expect that to continue?
Well, it certainly looks like we have that possibility, since we do have additional retail spaces still available over by the Woodmont Apartments and the Nexus Parking Deck. Right now we have just the Hot Yoga Revolution that has moved into the retail space. And I know that the borough is looking for more opportunities of businesses to come in to help the community and provide services and goods to the Metuchen community. We have more retail space going in across Middlesex Avenue from Whole Foods, so we have more opportunity there also. There's not going to be a lack of a place to go and get some fantastic food in Metuchen.
Yes, definitely. Well, that's about all the time we have. Bob Matlin, it was a pleasure having you here on the Metuchen High School Podcast.
Thank you so much, Eddie. It's always a pleasure, and if you ever have time to meet again, I'd be more than happy to help out.
Definitely. So that's about all the time we have today on the Metuchen High School Podcast. Thank you to our guests, Coach Holleran and Bob Matland. I'm Eddie Kalegi. We'll see you next time on the Metuchen High School Podcast, the online radio voice of MHS.